Although I was definitely a pain in the butt as a kid at times, I had my moments where I could first trace back my development as someone who wanted to teach. I always enjoyed helping people from a younger age. Regardless of what it was, I liked the feeling of being able to do what I could to make things better for those around me. I also liked being able to teach my peers new things whenever I could too. Even if what I was telling them was essentially meaningless, it felt good educating people on topics and concepts that they had never known before. These two joys that I have experienced as a kid set the groundwork for what was to come in the future for me. I also had two great teachers in my elementary years as well that would pose as great role models for me. First was my second grade teacher, Mr. Ferguson. He was the first teacher I had at my school when I first started there, and he was an incredibly welcoming, caring, and hardworking teacher that everyone had come to like and respect. He was also a man teaching elementary level education, which would be an important point in a little bit. The other teacher was Mrs. Cameron, my fourth grade teacher. Her influence on me was that she showed that the education could be fun if framed the right way. We learned a lot that year, and if it weren't for Mrs. Cameron's compassionate, fun teaching style, there is a good chance we wouldn't have learned half as much material as we covered that year. The combination of these two teachers' teaching mentalities is what my basic framework of what an education should be for students. I had a pretty solid educational experience in middle school and can't really complain about my overall experience during that time. However, outside of school during this time is what was most pivotal for me. I started working at my town's local Parks and Recreation department in 7th grade as a trainee staff. During this time, I would be learning the ropes of the job under a guy named Greg. He is arguably one of the most influential people I've experienced during my 3 years of middle school. He treated every kid in the Parks and Rec programs with care, respect, and with a fun, lighthearted attitude that I admired and aimed to replicate as my time in the department went on. I worked with him until last summer when he left to take another job, but I still aimed to act and work as he did when he was in the program. I was also in his wedding too, so that was a pretty cool added bonus. High school was when things got bumpy. Throughout my high school career, I continued to work with the Parks and Rec department, and my passion for working with children continued. It was something that I really liked and wanted to continue doing, but the school and I didn't quite see eye to eye on that. My advisor saw that's where I was looking and discouraged me from trying to become an elementary teacher, mostly because of me being a man. He put me on a biochem track instead, in hopes that would steer me clear of my desired path. Sadly, this is the path I was stuck on for 4 wasted years. I missed opportunities to learn how to be a better teacher and was put into a placement that I couldn't care less about. If I did learn anything about being a teacher from high school, though, it was what not to do as a teacher, because most to all of my teachers were underqualified and or didn't care at all. So in hindsight, especially after these past couple of years, I would say the school is the one with a more disjointed path. After my 4 squandered years of high school, I came to Siena, which has been a polar opposite experience than what high school was. During these past 2.5 years, I've become a staff supervisor at the Parks and Rec department. I've been welcomed as a prospective elementary school teacher, and the opportunities I've been given have been huge for my professional development. I've spent time with Saturday Scholars on campus and in Troy Prep Charter School most recently, but the one that has impacted me the most was my time at my hometown elementary school. I worked in kindergarten for a cumulative 2 months, and that's when I knew that education was the right path for me. I plan on continuing my journey to becoming a teacher that treats my students with respect, care, makes lessons fun, and ideally has students believe that they can do what they want to do, regardless of what others may tell them.